So my most recent non-Angela Anaconda related video was Dexter's Lab. Believe it or not, I do talk about other things. And I thought it makes sense to talk about the Powerpuff Girls this time around, since I think a lot of people group those two shows together a lot. And it makes sense. I remember them advertised together quite a bit growing up. And in many ways they do have similarities. They both have a similar, simple, shape-based animation style, and they're both very big and very explosive, very action-oriented. Obviously they're both very creative, and they came out around the same time, and they both had a ton of adult jokes, which made the rewatch value excellent. I don't just mean dirty jokes. They had stuff about classic music and classic movies, and they had some politics jokes once in a while. And it was cool to catch it later on. I really liked revisiting those shows and being able to catch the dirty jokes or the pop culture reference or the music reference. And it never felt like it was done in a way to be hip and cool and relevant. It was all done very genuinely, which made it help a lot. Which made it fun. Because it was fun for them, it was fun for us. For the girls themselves, so their origin story that you get in the theme song is that a professor creates 3 superpowered little girls accidentally in his lab. Why he chose to do that, it's probably best we don't think about it too hard. But either way, they are 5-year-old superheroes who balance their kindergarten lives and their superhero lives. Word I've read on the internet is Craig McCracken came up with the concept because he couldn't stand Sailor Moon being on all the time. It was originally called Whoop-Ass Stew, which is great. Instead of chemical eggs being the secret ingredient, it was a can of whoop-ass, which is so funny. I really liked the Powerpuff Girls. It was my favorite show when I was 5, and I liked that it was both really girly and really violent. I wasn't just a girly girl, I wasn't just a tomboy, I had a bit of both. And my favorite shows were stuff that had both. It didn't feel the need it had to be a girl's show or a boy's show, it was just a show. And I like that about this. It definitely felt like it had the best of both sides. And it was so its own thing, and very unapologetic about its identity, which is always great. And you had, the 3 characters were always interesting. You had Blossom, who was the smart one, you had Bubbles, who was the cute one, and Buttercup, who was the tough one. I didn't know a ton of people growing up who liked the Powerpuff Girls, but apparently it was this huge phenomenon. I only learned that much later in life. And the few people I knew about who liked the show, growing up, most people I knew liked Bubbles, the cute one, and now I talk to people who remember the show, most of them like Buttercup. My favorite was Blossom. She was the smart one. She got things done. She was the leader. She knew what to do. She had plans. So, I'm surprised. No, where's the love for Blossom? Well, and pink was my favorite color at the time, so she was cool. She was my favorite. I liked episodes that centered around her the most. And I have a feeling I would definitely clash with somebody like Buttercup. I did then, I do now. But hey, they were a team, they worked together, they were sisters, they fought like sisters, and they fought villains. They had very creative, very funny villains. There was Mojo Jojo, a monkey with a I wanted to say supersonic, but a monkey with a giant brain, which just describing that puts a smile on my face. There was my favorite pun, the Gangrene Gang. Get it? You probably do. Anyways, you're smart, internet. They fought the devil. They fought him. Apparently Satan was too much for TV at the time, but him, a devil who I wanted his outfit so badly. He had style. That was fun. Didn't pick up on that he was the devil or that he was modeled after, I think he was coded gay, essentially. I think he was a drag queen, but I loved his outfit. He was delightfully creepy. A lot of people were afraid of him. I thought he was cool. Typical. Mojo Jojo, I remember being the most recurring villain. I think he was their main antagonist. Well, he's the one I remember the most. And I rewatched episodes over the past few years, and I still really enjoyed it. I really liked the action. I really liked the color schemes. I like the characters. I think there's a ton of creativity to it. But it's also similar to Dexter's Lab. I'll put it on once in a while to revisit it, but it's not one I feel the need to watch extensively as an adult. It's not one I feel the need to really go back to a ton. While it did make an impact on my life, it's one that, again, I love it. I think it's because it's very episodic, and I get the idea pretty quickly. With anything, if you watch anything too much, you get the idea of what it's about, and sometimes you want it to go elsewhere and you want something else, and, you know, my tastes at 26 are very different than what they were at age 5. But I still really appreciate this show. I still admire it. I still respect it. It's still got a cool art style. I remember really liking the music. I remember specific episodes. I really liked the Rowdy Rough Boys. They were cool villains. I remember asking for years. I think a lot of fans were, oh, if there's Powerpuff Girls, are there Powerpuff Boys? So you got the answer to that. Most people I know remember this show really, really fondly, and for good reason, because it is that much fun. It is what I really like. I like seeing shows, I like superhero shows that are outside of Marvel and DC, because I like seeing how different artists do their take on it. I like seeing how different artists make fun of the tropes and invent their own tropes. Danny Phantom was another one. That was a Spider-Man but with ghosts, and I thought ghosts were cool, so I enjoyed the show. But Powerpuff Girls had this very Beatles, Lisa Frank. It was almost indie, almost not. Again, it's very, very unique, and you get a lot of energy from it, and you get a lot of color from it, and a lot of expression from it. Again, with those designs, you don't forget those designs. I have not watched the 2016 reboot. I don't intend to. I've heard too many horror stories. Yeah. But the good news is the original will always exist, and it will still be its own cool thing. The episode I rewatched most recently was the Christmas special, where they're flying up to the North Pole to beat Princess Morbucks, who... because she's... I can't remember the exact plot, but I think she's gonna make... I think her evil plan is that she's going to make every kid in the world on the naughty list and make her put herself on the nice list so that she gets everybody's presents. Oh, Princess Morbucks, such a spoiled brat character. She was fun. I remember her voice being borderline screechy and hard to take, but again, I know that was the character. I mean, everyone on this show is super talented. I remember the episode where Mojo Jojo turns everybody into a dog. There were 2 episodes like that, and I remember those ones were played a lot, so that's what I tend to remember more. And I remember the one where the professor's worried about their safety, so he builds a giant robot dynamo for them. I remember that one. Again, that one was played a lot. Some episodes were... I don't know if anyone else remembers this. How sometimes some episodes were played that much more over and over again. Or maybe I just noticed it more, I don't know. But overall, it was... What else can I say about it? It was so its own thing. It's definitely had a lasting legacy in animation and on pop culture. And I'm really, really glad it exists. Again, girly and violent. That's a great combination.